Oh, well, hello, friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Miss Pot Show. How's everybody doing? I saw a few people already here in chat. Justice, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Sharon, hello, how are you? Kane, as always, good to see you. I'll give it a few minutes. Let some notifications click in. Today should be a pretty easy day. I just wanted to review the declaration of Ann C. Taylor. We'll have a little peeky poo at that. Let's refresh our memories, right? Eddie, how you doing? As always, good to see you, Eddie. Truth and Justice, True Crime with Anna D. Hi, how you doing? If you're lurking, that's fine. Lurk away. Meg P, darling, hello. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Before I share screen and get to reading, we should do a sound check. I noticed I don't go back and re-listen to my stuff, but I was told my audio sometimes cuts out really bad. And I didn't know that, and I don't know why it's doing that. So, do a quick little sound check. Angel, hello, darling. How are you? Good afternoon, or morning, or night, wherever it is, whatever it is where you are. All right, let's get a sound check. Eddie, Kane, I know you're there. Tell me. Okie Granny, hello. Yeah, we're going to take a peeky poo. We're going to go take a little peeky poo at Ann Taylor's declaration. And this was a while back, but I think it's good to refresh our memories. Tamara, hello. How you doing? Good afternoon. All right. 1. Okay, you can hear me good, darling? Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Or are you just saying hi? I need 1s if you can hear me. 2s if you can't. 1s in the chat if you can hear me. 2 if my audio sucks. It says my microphone's good. It looks like I'm getting... Let's click to that. Maybe that'll... If I have any cutouts. Sounds good at the moment. All right. I'll try not to get too hyped, too crazy. I think it's my wire, because my mic is brand new, but the wire itself that plugs in, I don't know. I wanted to get a wireless one, but I heard those give people problems too. So, technology. It's buffered a couple times, Eddie. Interesting. All right. Okie Granny says 1. Meg says 1. Tamara says 1. Okay. Well, here we go, friends. You know, it wouldn't be one of my lives if we didn't have technical difficulties anyway. So we're just going to fucking roll with it and see where we get. All right. Gucci. Thank you, Kane. I'm Gucci. Appreciate that. All right. Awesome. Okay. Wonderful. Let's do a screen share here. Make sure everybody can see this well. Now, it says it's 26 pages. We're probably not going to go through all 26, but we are going to look at the pertinent parts. And then, of course, like in the comment section, anybody who wants to go read it can go read it. It's still on the website, so, All right, that looks big enough. Let me see my chat. Everybody good? Karma Police, hello. How you doing? Anybody just joining chat, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. This should be a quickie, right? In and out, bang-a-rang, and we'll get out of here because I do got to go to work in a little bit, but I wanted to refresh our memories with the declaration here of Ann C. Taylor in support of the defendant's third motion to compel. Cheryl, hello. How are you? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Beckles, hello. How are you? Thanks for being here. Karma, how you doing? All right, I'm going to be in another window reading. Mercy Cat, hello, darling. Everybody give it up for Mercy Cat. Mercy Cat's great. We love Mercy Cat. Hearts, hearts, hearts. 100 hearts for Mercy Cat. All right. I'm going to get into another screen here. So if you pop in chat and say hello, I am not ignoring you. I'm just going to be reading in another window. All right, let's get to this. So if everybody remembers correctly, Ann Taylor, June 22nd, 2023, filed her declaration in support of the defendant's third motion to compel. And right off the rip, she lets us know exactly what's up here, right? Okay. Ann C. Taylor, do state and declare. 1. Counsel for Mr. Kohberger filed a specific request for discovery related to the DNA, in this case, titled Defendant's Third Supplemental Request for Discovery. 2. The state filed a specific response to that request. After reviewing the materials provided, the following remains to be discovered. A. Requested 3 profiles uploaded to the DNA database. The state has provided information related to this request for the seized item, the knife sheath only. The defense has requested all DNA profiles, including 3 additional unidentified male DNA profiles developed during the course of law enforcement's investigation. This information has not been supplied. Now, I understand, we all know that many more documents came after this. Things went in front of judge, blah, blah, blah. We're only doing this to refresh our memories. That's all. B, request 6, communications. The state has not provided all emails, text messages, electronic messages, or other messages and conversations regarding biological testing in this investigation. C, requests 9 and 10. Unexpected results and corrective actions. This request has been partially complied with. However, the response lacks the full scope of the request 6 months before and 6 months after testing related to this investigation. Further, information relating to all lab personnel has not been provided. 3. Part of the third supplemental discovery request was for materials related to genetic genealogy testing. A. The state has objected to this request in its entirety and has filed a motion for protective order. Counsel for Mr. Kohberger requests this court consider the contemporaneous objection to the state's motion and declarations in support of the motion to compel. The requested discovery is properly sought pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 16. This discovery is necessary to the preparation of Mr. Kohberger's defense. 1. Counsel for Mr. Kohberger has reviewed the materials provided in this case regarding the DNA testing, laboratory reports, bench notes, and photographs. Further, experts in the field of genetic genealogy and DNA have consulted and offered information and guidance. The state acknowledges it used genetic genealogy testing in this case, but claims it does not have to produce the records in the specific request for discovery. The defense disagrees. 2. Counsel has learned through consultation with experts and sources referenced below that the use of genetic genealogy databases does not necessarily lead to a single individual as a potential suspect, and that reports of these searches often reference multiple individuals for further investigation and DNA testing. In fact, the state acknowledges such in its motion for protective order when it acknowledges, quote, hundreds of relatives. The testing conducted by a private lab is completely different in nature than the testing done by forensic labs. Genetic genealogy labs do not generate a profile in the same way forensic labs do, and there cannot be a direct comparison between the data obtained in this case by the Idaho State Forensic Crime Lab and the private lab. The tests used by private labs are either SMP or whole genome sequencing. These tests are similar to the methods used by commercial services such as 23andMe and Ancestry. 3. Based upon information from experts in the field, I have learned that once a genetic genealogy profile is created and the testing by the private lab is completed, the profile is uploaded to a database that contains similar data from other individuals. Once the genetic genealogy profile is uploaded, the profile is compared within that database and relatives are identified. 4. It is my understanding that once possible relatives have been identified, their identities are used to construct a family tree to identify possible suspects using public records and, in some instances, contacting individuals for further family information. Okay, let's refresh our memory. Remember when Bicka Barlow, sidebar here, remember when Bicka Barlow was asking for the tree and that it was crucial for the defense to know what other relatives were on the tree that were in the area at the time of the crime. Okay? Because here, number 4 states, it is my understanding that once possible relatives have been identified, their identities are used to construct a family tree to identify possible suspects. Okay? Using public records and, in some instances, contacting individuals for further family information. This process leads to a pool of individuals rather than one specific individual. The possibility of other relatives who might be similar to Mr. Kohberger is extremely important to the defense in this case. The processes used in this method of identification may be extremely important to Mr. Kohberger's defense. The timing and steps utilized are extremely important to Mr. Kohberger's case investigation and defense. 5. I have reviewed a copy of Idaho State Police announcement dated July 28, 2021, that the Idaho State Police Forensic Services Laboratory secured a grant to fund genetic genealogy testing for unsolved Idaho cases. See attached Exhibit A, contracted with Othram Laboratories in Texas. 6. The U.S. Department of Justice issued its interim policy for forensic genetic genealogical DNA analysis and search in 2019. The policy describes the process that law enforcement engages in during these searches and the results and limitations of the method. The identified individuals are one or more genetic associations. That means that the donor of the forensic or reference sample may be related to a service user, emphasis added, which may require additional investigative work and testing. If a suspect is identified, the agency is required to retain all FGG profiles, account information, and data for potential use during prosecution and subsequent judicial proceedings. 7. A new collaborative, National Technology Validation and Implementation Collaborative, was established in 2022. Its purpose is to collaborate and formulate methods and policy for labs and law enforcement to establish forensic investigative genetic genealogy programs. This collaborative contributed to a forensic science journal. The publication includes contributors from Idaho: Rylene Nolan, Idaho State Police Forensic Services, and Alana Minton, Office of the Attorney General. This publication includes reference to the aforementioned U.S. Department of Justice interim policy. Of particular note is the policy of release of information in accordance with rules of discovery. See Exhibit C. 8. I am aware of specific news reports in this case regarding Mr. Kohberger's DNA, as published by the New York Times on June 11, 2023, that, quote, FBI personnel worked with the profile that Othram had produced, spending days building out a family tree that began with distant relatives, end quote. 9. The New York Times sources have more information than the state has disclosed to defense. This New York Times article generated intense media coverage and interest, the scope of which is explained in the True Scope report attached as Exhibit D. 10. In addition, Mr. Kohberger's defense team has discussed the use of statistics in this type of case with experts who have informed me that the manner of identifying Mr. Kohberger via this type of search may have significant impacts on the statistical analysis of the CODIS profile generated by the Idaho State Lab. Without access to the actual genetic genealogy search methods and results, it is impossible for qualified experts to address these issues. Let's read number 10 again. In addition, Mr. Kohberger's defense team has discussed the use of statistics in this case with experts who have informed me that the manner of identifying Mr. Kohberger via this type of search may have significant impacts on the statistical analysis of the CODIS profile generated by the Idaho State Lab. Interesting. 11. Counsel for Mr. Kohberger notes that the state utilized a statistical analysis number to claim a high likelihood of match between the DNA on the sheath and that of Mr. Kohberger. The state, by its own admission, has taken a number of steps to identify Mr. Kohberger as a match. The statistical probability is not an absolute. The size of comparison sample and the nature of the search are important to ascertain conclusion bias. 12. Mr. Kohberger has a right to effective assistance of counsel. He has a right to confront evidence. Counsel must undertake a thorough investigation of all parts of the case the state brings against Mr. Kohberger. As such, the genetic genealogy investigation and process is necessary for the defense team to do its job. And then she signs it, and we have all of her exhibits here. So everything that she talked about that she disclosed as an exhibit, right? We get it all here. So obviously, I will link this. It has the DOJ interim policy, which I believe I've shared before in my community tab, but it lets you know here about the type of, for CODIS, how they do the STR, get it into CODIS. And she's saying that, unfortunately, there can be problems when it comes to the manner in which they identified him, because the use of statistics to have a statistical match, right? It could have significant impacts on the analysis of the CODIS profile that was generated by Idaho State Police. So she's saying that your IgG profile and your profile for CODIS, there is no direct comparison. You can't do a direct comparison, okay? But what I found most interesting out of her entire deck right at the very beginning, and I know the rest of you probably interesting too, because this is how long the defense in this about these 3 other DNAs. They've been requesting the information for these 3 other DNAs for a very long time. Very, very long time. And we have Bicka Barlow herself also stating that from the discovery she has reviewed in this case prior to Kohberger being arrested, there were 3 to 4 other male profiles uploaded to the CODIS database. Jesse, hello. Okay, I'm coming back to chat. Sorry if there's any of you just joining that I missed. I'm so very sorry. Let me get through here. For anybody just joining, if you're not sure what we're doing here, I am just going over the declaration of Ann C. Taylor. That is all. Translucent, hi, how you doing? Let me go through, say hi to everyone. Did I see Mrs. Peterson in here? AZ, how you doing? Need some Z's. Hi, how are you? Who else did I miss? Podcast with Peterson. There she is, Mrs. Peterson. Hello, darling. I hope you're doing well. I hope you feel well and you're feeling great today. Who else did I miss? I feel like there was somebody else that I scrolled by. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Lily, there you are. Hi, Lily. How are you? Kai boy, hello. Kaibo, hello. Is it Kibo? Kaibo? Hello, how are you? W.I. Grandma. I think that's what that says. Hello, how are you? P. Fox, darling. Foxy, Foxy, where are you? There you are. Shy Flower. Yeah, it says there's 81 people watching, so thank you, everyone, if you're here. Cassie, hi, how you doing? Oh, Cassidy, hi, how you doing? Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Okay, so anyways, as I was saying, I think it's very interesting here that for a long time, the defense in this case has been talking about these other DNAs. I forgot to mod you, Kane. Oh, well, then I'll go back to my comments and do that after I'm done with this. But I did want to bring something else up. So we can see here that way back in June of 2023, Ann Taylor, in her third request, right? Is that what this is for? Motion to compel, third request for discovery or some shit, right? I'm no lawyer, you know. No facts here, friends. Anyways, she's been asking for it for a while. And then I'm going to stop sharing this for a minute so that we can go take a look at Bicka Barlow, right? For anybody, you know, because I have people in my comments trying to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, I think you should go read the declarations of these experts. And maybe that would help, you know, understand what I'm talking about here. So let's see. Let me bring up Miss Bicka Barlow so we can go give it a little peeky poo. Where is it? This one. Declaration of Bicka Barlow. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Let's make this bigger. I'm going to share this with you. Hi, Joey. How are you? None your business. Was cracking. Beckles. Hi. How are you? All right. I'm going to share this one because it's always interesting to me when people tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, dude, this isn't my words, right? These aren't my words. I'm literally taking it from the documents. I'm just saying what's in the documents, right? All right. So, this is Bicka Barlow's declaration in support of the defense requesting this fucking DNA. Okay, everything to do with the IgG and the DNA and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here we go. June 22nd, right? This is also same day filed as the motion that we just read. Okay, that was also June 22nd, 2023. Now, we have the notice of filing of declaration of Bicka Barlow in support of that third motion to compel. So the third motion to compel that I just read, okay, is support of it. It's Ann Taylor's declaration in support of that third motion to compel. We now have Bicka Barlow also chiming in with her declaration in support of that third motion to compel. She goes through here, gives you her little declaration. This is the sum of her CV, her background, yada, yada, yada. Not going to read through all that. Down to the good stuff, which I've already shared on my community page, but apparently people will comment and they don't bother to read. So maybe this will help if they hear it out loud. I don't know. Let's try to help them. Let's try to help them understand what the actual DNA experts in this case who've seen the discovery are saying. And I am not trying to be a dick, but there is no way that I'm going to believe someone in the fucking YouTube comments and their assertion of the DNA in this case, as opposed to what the experts have stated and sworn to and put in declarations. Okay. So before I, go on here and start reading this. I just want to clarify that. There's never going to be a time ever that someone in my comments is going to come to my comments and be like, I know, I no, this is what they're going to, this is how the DNA was done. This is what the DNA, blah, blah, blah. The DNA was not uploaded to CODIS. That's what I was told. That these other profiles, they weren't uploaded to CODIS, that no testing was done. Bull fucking shit, they weren't. Bullshit, they weren't. Multiple motions have already been filed previously compelling that. Just because Bill says it wasn't done doesn't mean it wasn't done. Know what I mean? Just because Bill told you, oh, to the extent we don't have it, we can't produce something. To the extent it wasn't done, we don't have it. What? What do you mean to the extent it wasn't done? It's in your discovery, sir. Our DNA expert can see it. Okay? The DNA expert looking at the discovery can see that you uploaded 3 to 4 other profiles into the CODIS database prior to Kohberger's arrest. So what do you mean it wasn't done? Of course it was done. That's why it's in the discovery. And I doubt very highly you're just uploading 3 to 4 random profiles that aren't considered suspects. If you're uploading profiles to CODIS, it's because you believe those profiles are suspect profiles. No? No, I don't know. I don't know shit. No facts here. Just a guess, though. I'm just guessing. It's probably not a record of it, Cassidy, darling. If there is a record of it, the point that I'm getting at here is CODIS database is forever. So once a profile is uploaded into CODIS, the only way it's coming out is with a court order to do so. So even if for some reason the defense, the state wanted to play shifty, oh, to the extent it have it, blah, 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 right? To the extent it wasn't done, we don't have it. Okay, well, that's fine. Subpoena CODIS, right? I would imagine that the defense could subpoena the information if they haven't already. I would hope it was already done a long time ago. Fine, you don't want to give it to us, motherfucker? We'll subpoena it ourselves. Not a problem. That's what I would do. No problem. Because the CODIS database is forever. So even if the state is trying to say, oh, we can't give it to you, we don't have it. Oh, that's all right, motherfucker. I'm going to backdoor it. Just like you backdoored Bryan's DNA match, right? Just like how you got Bryan's genetic information, allegedly, speculation, my opinion. You backdoored it. Well, then we're going to backdoor those 3 to 4 other profiles that were uploaded to CODIS and issue a subpoena for the information. I don't know. Fingers crossed that was already done. Yeah. AZ, we're talking about multiple things here. We're talking about the motion to compel, which I just read, the declaration of Ann C. Taylor for the motion to compel. What followed Ann's declaration is the declaration of Bicka Barlow, because they're both asking for the same thing and have been since June of 2023, which is all of the DNA in the case that was considered to be suspect DNA, including Kohberger's. And what's been happening from the beginning is the state saying, no. We don't have to give you that information. We only have to give you the information. That's just not how it works. If there were other suspects in the case, the state needs to discover that information and produce that information. And the state needs to show how those people were cleared. Just because you didn't get a return in CODIS doesn't mean anything. You didn't get a return for Bryan either. So why don't you have 4 to 5 IgG trees? If all of your suspect DNA profiles didn't produce a hit from CODIS, how come you don't have multiple trees? So anyways, these are just my random thoughts and opinions on, these declarations that we're going through here. That's all. Just my random thoughts and opinions. All right, here we go. So let's get back over here to Bicka Barlow. Now, The reason I wanted to share this one from Bicka Barlow is because she lets us know here that when it comes to the Idaho state, the direct comparison, it cannot be done. Okay. Private labs do not generate a profile in the same way that a forensic lab does. So the profile generated by ISP, you cannot do a direct comparison from that profile to the profile of the private lab that was developed. And she's telling us that. It says it right here. SMPs and STRs cannot be directly compared. Okay. Now, when you get into, so we get it right here again. This is where she's saying data is compared within the database. Possible relatives are identified. The determination of who is or is not a relative is subjective. It's based on the length of DNA shared between the two individuals. Once a putative relative has been identified, a family tree is created, working backwards to grandparents and possible great-grandparents. The family tree is built down. The construction of these family trees is highly subjective and is based on the use of public records such as marriage and birth certificates. Difficulties with tracing family trees may arise when there are events that sever a relationship, such as an out-of-wedlock birth, name change, or adoption. She goes into here, further family information. It would lead to a pool of individuals rather than a specific single individual. She references the Golden State Killer case here. And then when you get down here, in an episode from the Genetic Detective Show, Who Killed Angie Dodge, last visited, and she cites the time she reviewed the information, at least one relative of the defendant in that case was investigated and ruled out. Further complicating the Dodge case was the fact that the defendant in that case had been born after his parents divorced and adopted by his stepfather. In addition, there has been a history of misuse of these IgG databases by law enforcement. Abuses by law enforcement of the GEDmatch resulted in users opting out of the use of their DNA data by law enforcement. The abuses and protests by users led to GEDmatch to change their database so that users had to opt in for law enforcement use. Another database that allows law enforcement searches, Family Tree DNA, automatically opts the user in. An example of other abuses of this technology, a Florida police officer obtained a warrant for the entire GEDmatch database despite users' choice to opt out of law enforcement searches. And then she talks about recently the state of Maryland passed a statute regulating the use of these IgG searches. And she cites all that here. In some cases, both law enforcement and the genealogists that they employ have engaged in deceptive practices, tricking family members, surreptitiously gathering genetic material from non-suspect family members, or simply uploading an evidentiary profile to a database that does not allow law enforcement searches. And Bicka Barlow here says it is imperative to the defense in this case to know how Mr. Kohberger was identified and who else in his family tree might have been identified as a subject of investigation. Okay? Let that marinate for a second. This is Bicka Barlow, back in June of 2023, saying it is imperative to the defense in this case that they know how Mr. Kohberger was identified and who else in his family tree might have been identified as a subject of investigation. While in the Dodge case, another relative was ruled out, it is unknown to the defense in this case whether every lead or possible suspect was further investigated and ruled out by genetic testing. You see what they're getting at here? Those profiles that were uploaded to CODIS, if they were possible suspects, How were they further investigated and ruled out by this genetic testing, by any testing? How were you ruling these profiles out while you were ruling his in? Because the family tree generated by these genealogical searches often identify distant relatives through great or great grandparents, a person may be completely unaware of the relatives in the genetic genealogy searches and unable to conduct an independent investigation of possible third-party suspects. It is not possible for any defendant to investigate family relatives who are unknown to him and may in fact have been in the area of the crime. The material is clearly Brady material in that it would provide investigative leads that are otherwise unavailable to Mr. Kohberger. And then she says here, in my opinion, as an attorney who specializes in DNA cases and who has seen both cold hits cases and IgG cases, the IgG database search results raise the same type of questions and areas of investigation that a cold hit case would. First, as noted above, who else was included in the pool of putative relatives in the first instance of the IgG database? Second, once the IgG search was completed, who in the pool of identified putative suspects were ruled out by further investigation? And then she lets us know in the little footnote, a cold hit case is a case in which no suspect has been identified and a DNA profile from evidence was created using STR-based testing. This DNA profile is then uploaded to CODIS database, and the database is searched for a matching profile from the offender. And then she says here, for the defense team, how many others were investigated and what caused law enforcement to focus on Ms. Kohberger is key possible investigation and third-party suspects. Third, and in many ways, most importantly, how does the search of a large database impact the statistical analysis of the comparison by the state lab using standard STR methods? As with cold hit cases, it is now well recognized that the statistical analysis of a comparison of standard STR profiles is impacted by a phenomenon called ascertainment bias. She cites this other case here. I just want to get down to the good stuff. Issue in Johnson. She cites Johnson. She cites Turner. But then she also cites here in this little footnote, this is where we get a little something about our case here with Kohberger. The footnote, number 7, it says, in its motion, the government misstates the statistical rarity of the comparison to the DNA from the sheath. The STR profile, quote, is at least 5.37 octillion times more likely to be seen if defendant is the source than if an unrelated individual randomly selected from the general population is the source, end quote. This reported statistic for this comparison is a likelihood ratio similar to an RMP, which compares two competing hypotheses. The government statement is extremely misleading and is essentially the prosecutor's fallacy. The fallacy is to say that the probability is also the probability that the DNA at the crime scene came from someone other than the defendant. It does not say that the odds that the suspect contributed the evidence are 1,000 to 1. She then gets down into here. Okay, now this is where we're going to get into, we'll get more information. I'll bring it to you. In the case of a cold hit case, even a high RMP can yield a low DMP statistic. For instance, an RM of 1 in 1 million can yield a DMP of 1 in 3, which means that while the profile is rare, the likelihood of getting a coincidental match during the search of the database and selecting a person who matches but is not the perpetrator is high. Okay. So let's read that again. For instance, An RMP of 1 in 1 million can yield a DMP of 1 in 3, which means that while the profile is rare, the likelihood of getting a coincidental match during the search of the database and selecting a person who matches but is not the perpetrator is high. When this evidence is excluded, jurors wonder why and how the defendant was identified. In one case where the evidence of the search and the DMP was excluded, jurors inquired of the trial court how he had been identified. Failing to allow the defense access to the ability to investigate and potentially present evidence about the tip that the government intends to exclude could lead a jury to being actively misled by the strength of the government's evidence as it relates to the DNA on the sheath. Okay? Failing to allow the defense access to the ability to investigate and potentially present evidence about the tip that the government intends to exclude could lead a jury to being actively misled by the strength of the government's evidence as it relates to the DNA on the sheath. The government's arguments are similar to those that were eventually discarded by the courts when they recognized that the search of a database can be considered as relevant evidence. Okay, then we're going to go down a little bit further and I'll read it to you. Here we go. Right here, item 4.2. Okay. From the discovery in this case, it appears that at least 3 and possibly 4 profiles were uploaded to the CODIS database to Mr. Kohberger being charged. Mr. Kohberger has requested the discovery of these uploads and any resulting hits or candidate matches to these unknown male profiles, even if the lab has dispositioned them as non-candidate matches. Let's highlight this. And she even tells us here, when a profile is uploaded to the CODIS database, it is searched continuously against the database of convicted offenders and arrestees maintained by the state, generally on a weekly basis. This ensures that as new individuals are added to the database, they will hit on evidence sample profiles if they are deemed as a match. These candidates are then forwarded directly to the lab that uploaded the evidence profile for further evaluation. So we know ISP uploaded all these profiles to CODIS. The profiles would be continuously searched on a weekly basis as new profiles are being entered into the database. So as all these new profiles are getting entered in, these DNAs should be every week on a weekly basis being brought through, no? And then if anything popped up as a hit, it would go back to ISP to notify them we got a hit. Right? Hello, darling. For fuck's sake, Fitziana. Hi. Exactly. How were they not? Exactly. Why would you not have, you have the 3 to 4 that were uploaded prior to his arrest plus his. So we should have anywhere from 3 to 5 IgG trees, technically. And if it was so easy and so quick for them to build his, right? Just boom, 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 done. Why couldn't you do all of them at once? And furthermore, how were those ruled out? So even Bicka Barlow here is stating that even if the lab has dispositioned those profiles and put them as a non-candidate match, she's saying that it is he's requesting the discovery of these uploads, even if the lab is saying, nah, we don't think they were a candidate. A.R. Hayes, how you doing? So that's why I wanted to look back at the declaration. Danger. How you doing? Thanks for being here, everyone. Hope you're all having a great day. I don't plan to be here long. I just wanted to review the declaration of Ann C. Taylor in support of her third motion to compel, along with Bicka Barlow's declaration in support of her third motion to compel, because it all revolves around the other profiles, your alternative suspects, the other suspects that law enforcement pursued in this case. And for those who think that the defense and the defendant do not have a right to the information as to who else was investigated as a suspect and how they were cleared, there should be a proper record of that. It should be discoverable to the accused. He absolutely has the right to vet. His defense team has a right to vet how these other suspects were cleared. Furthermore, were any of them related to him? That seems to be what they're also getting at. What putative list of relatives were produced on his tree that were also in the area at the time of the crime, and how did you exclude them? That is pertinent to his defense, according to Bicka Barlow. So it's very, very interesting when you go back. Hi, Kara, darling. Thanks for saying hello. You can lurk away. Thanks for being here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Heather. Especially when we're talking about a death penalty case here. You know, of course, the accused has every right to know how law enforcement cleared other suspects. Of course, they have the right to know that. We would all have that right. You know? Mrs. Peterson, yeah, I know. It's pretty fucked up, right? It's wild. And this is stuff they've been asking for shit. Since what? Within 6 months of him being arrested? I guess the moment they found out IGG was done, they were like, wait a minute, motherfuckers, what do you mean IGG? And then we find these profiles, right? The defense is looking at the discovery and they're saying, wait a minute, you uploaded 3 to 4 other profiles to CODIS prior to him being arrested? So who the hell was that? Then they're talking about surreptitiously obtaining DNA, people who gave their DNA willingly. Where is all that? How were those people cleared? You know, it's going to be very interesting when you find out. Echo, hello. Thank you so much for the super chat or super sticker. What is that? I don't even know what it's called. Super sticker. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you. So yeah, exactly. P. Fox, right? We've been asking these same questions since 1982, for Christ's sake. Pepperidge Farms remembers how long we've been asking these damn questions. You know, it's just always good to go back, refresh your memory, right? I've had some people in my comments trying to tell me I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. And these profiles, they were never uploaded to CODIS. Don't worry, these profiles never even went to CODIS. That's why the state can't produce them. That's what I was told. This is why the state can't produce them, because they were not uploaded to CODIS. And that is a fucking lie. It's not me saying it either. It's right here in black and white from the goddamn DNA expert who has reviewed the discovery in this case. We've not seen the discovery. I've not seen the discovery, but Bicka Barlow has. And Bicka Barlow is saying from the discovery in this case, it appears that at least 3 and possibly 4 profiles were uploaded to the CODIS database prior to Mr. Kohberger being charged. So, I don't know why some people have a hard time understanding this. Okay. But it's very clear. Okay. So if you're one of those people that lurks and then you like to come to my comments. You know who you are, by the way. Obviously, I don't mean any of you guys that are awesome. The two dickheads that I'm talking to know who I'm talking to. Okay. Yeah. Just read it. Stop listening to drunken chickens. Stop listening to whoever else it is you're listening to that's telling you all of this absolute bullshit. And just go look at the documents. Okay. Just read what the experts have stated, what they've disclosed in their declarations, what they've stated on the stand. Okay. I mean, AZ, that is possible. Yeah. Could it be from bed sheets, DNA that's months old? I mean, probably not. Just because of the way forensics works. I don't think that the forensics team is just randomly swabbing bed sheets. I think that the DNA that was uploaded to CODIS is DNA. It could be these 3 to 4, in my opinion, it's the 3 to 4 other profiles that were uploaded to CODIS. We have no idea where those profiles came from, right? We don't know if those are the 3 to 4 other profiles found at the scene, or if that's 3 to 4 profiles of a surreptitiously obtained DNA from the cigarette butt and then people who voluntarily gave up their DNA. We don't know whose DNA it is. That's the problem. They're hiding it. When he has every right to know exactly, obviously, those 3 to 4 profiles, police believed those were suspects. The police believed those were suspect profiles. That's why they uploaded them. So, I'm just saying, for anybody who's not quite clear, it's all in the documents. It's all in the documents. And a lot of the experts in this case have... Yvette, well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Yeah, I know. I cuss. I've had people tell me like I shouldn't, and I'm like, yeah, no, sorry, is what it is. I'm gonna cuss. Sorry. If you don't like swearing, or you think people who swear are, less than you or whatever, that's fine. Move along. Click on out. I don't give a fuck. I swear it's going to happen. Don't know what to tell you. So yeah, I just wanted to cover these two things real quick. I thought it would be a nice refresher to just let's refresh our memories on what Mrs. Peterson, my darling, do you need to go lay down? Are you feeling okay? Are you going to go rest? I hope that you do. Oh, please go rest as much as you need to. I don't care if you have to sleep 10 hours so that you feel better. Do whatever you need to do. I hope you feel better. Yes. Curse away, right? I know YouTube doesn't like it, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to swear. It's going to happen, So anyways, I thought it would be a good idea just to refresh our memories. Murky, darling, hello. Didn't even see you there. Murky Piglet, hello. Oink, oink, baby girl. Ruth Carter, hello. Everybody give a little oink, oink for Merks. Miss Merks. All right. Who thinks the hearings will be closed? Yeah, I know, right, P. Fox? I don't know. I'm starting to get nervous. I thought I saw something, though. I thought I saw something. People are like, oh, well, I wonder who's filing to have the hearing, the IGG unsealed. I'm like, I don't think it takes a G. It's not rocket science, right? Who? I don't think it's the state asking the court to unseal the hearing. It's just a wild guess. It's just a wild guess. My guess is it's the defense. Just a wild guess. Of course, it's the defense asking for everything to be unsealed. It's certainly not the fucking state. Let's just be realistic here. I hope it's not closed either, but it might just be. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know though, because I think that, Hitler here, I think Hitler doesn't want anything where the Supreme Court could come back and, fuck with this case or whatever. I feel like he's gonna, but I don't know, either way. I got to go to work in a little bit. I just wanted to refresh our memories and refresh some people's memories, not ours, because we know, right? We know. We all know. Especially for fuck's sake, Fitziana here. She knows everything, right? Little Miss Know-It-All Smarty Pants, right? That's why I love her so much. So we know. But I have people in my comments who just don't know because they don't read the documents. And they go and listen to fucking idiots on YouTube instead of just reading the documents. And I'm nobody. I don't know shit. But what I do know is I know how to read the document. I know how to understand what the expert herself is saying. And the expert herself is saying that from the discovery in this case, we have other profiles that were uploaded to CODIS. And we got Billy Boy in court crying, okay, ripping out his fucking hair that, oh, no, I didn't know we were going to talk about this today. To the extent it wasn't done, we don't have it. Well, it was done. It actually was done. Okay. It was done. And it's in black and white. And it's in their own discovery that they turned over. Right? So you went in front of Judge. You lied. You said, oh, we don't have it. I didn't know we were going to talk about this today. And Judge is like, yeah, I didn't know either. Right? I didn't either, he says. And because Ann brought it up and caught them all off guard, he's getting all flustered, to the extent it wasn't done. We don't have it. We can't produce something we don't have. So you went in front of Judge here and you told a mistruth. I won't call it a lie because some people get upset. We'll just call it a mistruth. You fudged the truth a little, sir, when you said to the extent it wasn't done. It was done. It was done. There are 3 to 4 other profiles in CODIS. Once they are there for good. Audrey, darling, hello. Thanks so much for joining. So, for anyone out there who believes that they talk to the defense, or if you're in with the defense, let the defense know. If they have not already done so, which I highly doubt, but if for some reason it has not been done, just go ahead and issue your own subpoena to CODIS for the 3 to 4 other profiles that were uploaded. There you go. Boom. Thank you. Right? If the state doesn't want to produce it, if it still hasn't been produced, if it's information you're still looking for to identify these alternative suspects that the state was pursuing before they were pursuing your client, go ahead and issue a subpoena for the 3 to 4 other profiles that are sitting in the CODIS database as we speak. So that would be my advice. But I don't know shit. Okay? Just remember, no facts here, friends. I don't know shit. Okay? Love you all. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you to every single one of you who sent a super chat the last few lives, or if you hit up the Cash App, every single one of you, you are amazing. Thanks so much for everybody joining today. I do got to go to work. So I just wanted to make this a little quickie, just for funsies, just to refresh our memories. And then when this is all done, I'll go do a comment and I'll pin the comment and I'll put Ann Taylor's declaration and then the declaration of Bicka Barlow in the comments. That way you guys can go click on it yourselves, download it, print it, read it, mark it up, do whatever you want to do with it, right? Frame it. Print it all out and frame it, whatever you want. Do what your heart tells you. And thank you, mods. Kane, I'll mod you when this is all done. You're going to have to go leave a comment somewhere, and I'll mod you when this is all over. But I hope everybody has an awesome day. I'm going to go to work for the night. Love y'all. Catch you later. Peace. Let me click that.